All systems nominal.
それでは早速全速前進
You know what the weak point of a mech is? The fucking pilot.
Get away from her, you bitch!
His papers say he was a raven.
Protocol 3.
A pattern blue!
Welcome to On the Shoulders of Giants, a giant robot power hour discussing mechs across media, their stories, and why we love them. I'm Alice, and I'm joined by Brian.
Podcasting is a pain, but I'm starting to get the hang of it. I think of it like field stripping a weapon.
And Nico.
So, Alice, how does it feel to betray your own race?
Love being a race traitor. This time around, we're discussing that we're not in Kansas anymore. You're on Pandora, ladies and gentlemen. Avatar, the 2009 James Cameron film. Let's launch into it.
Which part of the majestic soundtrack do we think we're going to use for the intro?
The one when they're first coming down and they're flying the shuttle and it goes, ah!
Oh, yeah, we gotta get...
It's not native chanting, so you don't feel too bad about it, but it's close enough.
Great. At the top, should we say... Should we just... I feel like I'm going to try and talk about this movie on its visual and mechanical merits only and specifically. I guess we should just say at the top that this is a very clumsy movie that's very silly and does a lot of incredibly stupid, insensitive, condescending, racist shit.
Yeah.
That's basically, I think we can cover it. Just kind of say that's happening.
Smarter people than us have written really good articles about this and The Way of Water, which apparently works more with Maori people. So,
God, I love The Way of Water. I can't wait for Fire and Ash. Or the other 5 movies.
Again, everyone, we've talked about it before. Alice is the shit everyone hates defender, and I love that for her. She's an important perspective.
It's a necessary energy.
Yeah.
Guys, get out of the way. I have to introduce this media.
Thank you so much.
Produced in 2009. Feel old. Everybody feel old. By James Cameron. James Cameron is the producer, director, and writer of this film. 20th Century Fox was only the distributing publisher. They gave him some funding money for it, but had no words over content or release of this.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that this is James Cameron's Megalopolis?
Yeah, but stretched over 10 movies. So it's like, we can't definitively say it's bad yet.
Okay.
I heard this described as James Cameron's way to make infinite money so he could pilot subs. And
yeah,
it's
this
just
is the sub money fund.
Like, instead of doing tax fraud, he did this, and I don't know, I kind of prefer this.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, this is 2 hours and 48 minutes. There is a longer cut if you want to watch it that has many great deleted scenes, including the one where he's back on Earth being a drug addict in an alleyway that they cut because it was a little too mean to vets.
Oh, God, I think I watched that one by accident.
Oh,
Shit.
good for you.
I saw the extended edition.
Imagine having that and being in a culture that thinks that's being mean to vets and not criticizing the system that puts vets in that situation.
Just a straight up, well, first of all, it's a straight up depiction of toxic masculinity, but second of all, it's just a straight up depiction of how we treat veterans. So
real. This is part of a franchise. It was always planned to be a franchise. Originally, this was planned to be a 10-movie series. James Cameron has changed that, and it is now up to, as of, I think, the last article I said, a 15-movie series to go past his death.
I've never had this much to say about anything.
Yeah, girl.
Some might say neither does James Cameron.
Yeah.
All right, production notes. So most of this is taken from Wikipedia because, again, this movie is so big, so much has been written about it. I just want to talk about the shit that I find hilarious in a way that is like not too jabbing. Good. So
No. I've just realized why there's 15 installments now.
Fine.
As reparations, like every indigenous nation that he ripped off will get to do a version like the Maori where they actually get to do a lot of cultural consulting. So we're gonna like
this is how we're doing it.
Yeah, it's gonna be infinite worlds of Avatar, and it's just gonna be like, unfortunately we are still blue, but everyone's gonna get to have a cultural moment. Anyway,
I love that.
This was the white boy cultural moment.
So in a December 2006 interview, James Cameron described Avatar as, quote, a futuristic tale set on a planet 200 years hence. An old-fashioned jungle adventure with an environmental conscience that aspires to be a mythic level of storytelling.
It's Fern Gully.
Who says hence?
James Cameron.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, go on.
This started in 1994 as an 80-page treatment. So right after Titanic, he wrote this up as a treatment. He did claim that the original inspiration for this was a dream he had when he was 19 of a forest with synapses in it and a grove. And that is seen in this movie. That's the grove where the two kiss. That is the one from his dream.
Can I share a fun fact that this is the Cameron family cinematic universe? Because it's based on a dream he had about the forest and a dream his mother had about a 14-foot tall blue woman, which to me just seems like, hey, James Cameron's mom, do you have something to think about?
Same. So why this movie is kind of interesting to me is like content aside, this man is insane in what he did for the world building for Pandora. So the Na'vi language, the Na'vi being the native people of the planet, was created by Paul Fromer, a linguist at USC. The Na'vi language has a lexicon of about 1,000 words, and 30 of these were added by James Cameron himself.
Yeah, he just freestyled those.
I'm going to read words and probably mispronounce them right now. The tongue's phonemes include ejective consonants, such as the KX in squang, that are found in Amharic, and the initial NG that Cameron may have taken from the Maori language.
Again, y'all, you're gonna be hearing a lot of this. Okay, can I share my favorite story fact, which is that he has been sued approximately 1 million times by all these different artists who claim that he ripped off some part of their story or art. And I think that's the funniest possible result of the fact that this story is just every fucking story in a blender. Everyone can sue him. Like, Russian people were like, you straight up ripped off the Boris Strugatsky, or the Strugatsky brothers books.
It's just incredibly generic. Yeah,
it really is.
It's so funny to me.
So here's the thing. I don't think we're going to watch any of the other Avatar films, so I'm going to loop them and the game.
That's hilarious. Oh. That's hilarious to me. I thought we were going to be covering one of these every year as a sort of Catholic penance. I thought for sure the reason you brought this in is because you were going to do that to us.
We're on the other side of that ScarJo recording. We already know the next year is the 1 year pod. We have received documents from Alice. She does not have time to make us watch Avatar next year. She does not have time.
She does, but I do, and I'm deciding whether I want to shoot myself and the rest of the pod in a figurative way.
I think the second one is a better film. We'll get into it. But what I wanted to say is, so he made this beautiful language, and in the second movie, I'm going to spoil this for you because these movies do not matter. You can be spoiled. It's about the journey. It is a ride. It is an amusement park. In the second one, it's 15 years hence, and he's gone native. He has a family, and it starts fully in Na'vi language. And then at some point he says, and I finally knew enough of it that when I heard it, it just sounded like English, and the rest of the movie is in English.
Oh my God, they did Hunt for Red October.
Perfect.
Did they zoom in on his mouth when they switched languages?
No, it's his two kids playing, and they suddenly are speaking in English.
Oh my God.
Now, I will say, they also, anytime they meet new Na'vi, they go back to the language for a bit, and then everybody's back to English. But anyway, so from 2005 to 2007, so this movie really started development in 2005. Cameron worked with a handful of designers, including famed fantasy illustrator Wayne Barlow, and renowned concept artist Jordo Shell to shape the design of the Navi with paintings and physical sculptures when Cameron felt that the 3D brush renderings were not capturing his vision, often working together in the kitchen of Cameron's Malibu home. So this is something that I love about this. So when they were designing the Navi, they figured that when they were doing it in a computer, it wasn't looking right. So they got together with clay and molded the Navi in James Cameron's kitchen.
Can you smell what James is cooking? Which is wild to me because these are the most, like, generic looking alien motherfuckers. I mean, their eyes aren't like, I don't know, they're like, they're aliens for furries, which feels derogatory towards furries, which is not what I mean. Thank you for your service and for our IT infrastructure. This is just, they're very tall, skinny people who wear very few clothes and have kind of feline features. Like, okay.
And no dicks. I put the images of, like, their stuff you should check out anyway on our website. So I want to give a shout out. This is also a Weta production. Weta Digital is the background. They are the people doing the computer processing. They help design these environments. They help do all of the digital work to make Pandora. How does that make you feel, Nico?
I mean, here's the thing. Weta Workshop is a working studio. They take jobs. Like, I don't know. Like, I will say they work hard at whatever they do. Just often lately, it seems like it's been dog shit.
So, during filming, this is the part that I really enjoy, which is Cameron made use of a virtual camera system, a new way of directing motion capture filmmaking. The system shows actors' virtual counterparts in their digital surroundings in real time, allowing the director to adjust and direct scenes as if shooting live action. Basically, James Cameron pioneered the technology that made all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe possible. Thank you, James Cameron.
Jesus Christ, the root of evil.
We'll talk about it.
Money. We have to talk about the money of this because if you talk about Avatar, everybody will tell you the money of it, right?
Wait. Have you talked about the data? The data storage?
No.
Rendering this fucking movie took over a petabyte of data storage. Every minute of this movie is about 18 gigs.
Because it's a full rendered environment.
Well, not every minute. Sorry. Every minute. Wow, that's wild. Every frame of this movie is 18 gigabytes.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, that's what I wanted to share.
So first movie was made on a budget of $237 million. Total gross, $2.9 billion.
Jesus. Okay. This is the funny thing. Okay. Americans, like, there's this stupid thing like, oh, everyone remembers where they were on 9/11. I challenge everyone who knows they saw this movie to remember a single thing that was happening in your life when you saw this movie.
Oh, I mean, I do remember, but
I rewatching this movie, I realized I remembered none of it except that it is just Pocahontas, but I forgot Sigourney Weaver was in this movie.
Okay, that's kind of on you.
No,
nobody forgot Sigourney Weaver was in this movie. I want to say
bleached my brain. I've forgotten beloved childhood memories because of this. Okay, anyway.
That one might have some merit to it. I just want to say, like, I think people talk about this phenomenon like it's still so much, and to me, it's like I'm gonna take an Alice token on it here and say, like, it's not that deep. The movie looks amazing. It's very mediocre, but it literally revolutionized visual storytelling in cinema. So of course it made a bunch of fucking money. Like,
well,
that's it.
And I think it's hype cycle too. Like, you know, your friend goes to see it and it was a phenomenon. It feels good to be part of something. It's like, I know so many people who started watching Severance even though they have no interest in it and like they don't like that kind of story or anything like that, just because there was a cultural phenomenon happening around it. Like, they just wanted to be part of, let's talk about the latest thing. So,
yeah.
I
get it.
Just want to say, like, there's so many average people out there, you know, that just want to go see a pretty picture with their family and get some overpriced popcorn. And
this is the film.
And that's really valid.
This is the film of someone who goes to a national park when the government shut down and walks their dog.
And to also talk just about like what made this make so much money is the overseas market. 2.2 billion of this was overseas because the story is so simple anybody, any language can get this. This applies to everywhere, right? Like, it's so milk toast.
That is a good point. And then I also just think that like this is also Alice is right. Both of your points mingle into one, which is just like, yeah, this was an amusement ride movie. Mm-hmm. There are so many. I don't know about the second one, but there in this movie, you can absolutely date this movie because you can absolutely tell there are like minutes of footage comprehensively in the movie that are meant specifically and deliberately to demo new technology, demo 3D technology, demo slow motion technology. It looks like a commercial. Like 20% of the movie looks like a commercial for new technology.
Well, the second one is literally just demoing water effects. The entire movie is water effects and showing like, look, we can make realistic drying water on fake skin. Like, look at what we can do. Anyway, Nika, you had a question for me?
Alice, I need you to post the image. One of the images you have to post for this on the web zone has to be Zoe Saldana screaming in grief next to the blue version of her doing it. Because it's the motion capture rig, but it is just... It's much. Zoe Saldana is just like, ah!
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
I know, because it's on the fucking Wikipedia page. But I saw it and I had to just sit with it for a minute. I was like, that's a lot. That's so much.
Avatar 2, The Way of Water, a movie I saw twice. Budget of $400 million. Why is that? Thank you for asking. So the reason there was such a time difference of 13 years between the movies...
Yeah, please explain the time scope.
...is James Cameron said the technology still isn't there. And he spent the last 13 years getting the tech where he wanted it to be so that he could pump these out every 3 years.
No, okay, this is making sense. We need 15 avatars. That's the only way we're going to get, like, regular, normalized space flight.
Anyway,
like,
that made...
James Cameron is going to get us there because he'll be like, I don't like the CG for my vehicles in the movies anymore. We need real mechs. We're going to get real mechs because of James Cameron.
He will fund real mechs.
Oh, no.
That movie, just to say that Avatar was not a one-off, made $2.3 billion. So this franchise is just making money. That's it. Love it. So that's boring. Let's get into the fun part of it.
Thank you.
Hey guys, what did you know about Avatar before I brought it here?
Thank you for asking. It was 2009. I was a sophomore in high school, and no, I like
people
remember,
running the numbers right now.
I remember like agreeing with so many people about like the hype was incredible, and like I saw and like I had like again it holds up. It's I still think largely it looks really good visually. And at the time, it was like literally mind blowing how good it looked.
Yeah.
In 2009, this was just like truly ascendant. And so like I remember thinking that, and I still think this pissed me off so bad. The villain in this movie just sucks. Like this guy is not doing a good performance.
How do we feel about
boring.
The fact that
He's
he
like,
now works in our government in a sort of way? Like everyone at Doge was just this guy.
Yeah. It's fucking unbelievable. We live in hell. Yeah. But that's basically my memory of it. It was like this was visually a masterpiece. The villain ruined the already very generic plot by being boring and unsubtle and like bad. And that's how it has stuck in my memory. That's why when Way of Water came out, I like could not have cared less. I'm very happy for Alice. Everybody clapped for Alice. The Way of Water came out.
I'm so happy that Way of Water came out for Alice. And for society, because again, the only way we're gonna get like VTOL used regularly is because James Cameron wants them to be filmed nicely.
Gonna fucking make that shit himself. I want to ask you, and I'm gonna ask Nico as well. Have you ever revisited Avatar before this? Because I feel like that's the story of Avatar.
To the beautiful world of Pandora.
Nobody watched it twice, right? It's a film you never watched twice.
No, I hadn't watched it again, no.
Yeah, so I was a freshman in high school because I'm a little baby. Yeah, I remember seeing this. I had the sensation, okay, so like, sometimes if you watch a mystery movie and you solve it by accident, and you spend the whole rest of the movie going, well, I can't have figured it out. That would be way too simple. And then you finish the movie and you go, oh, it was just that. In like, okay, for reference, I grew up with my mom watching a lot of Westerns. I've seen Dances with Wolves kind of multiple times. I've seen a lot of versions of the white guy goes... The phrase that Alice has used a couple times now is the white guy goes native. I've seen a few different versions of this story where the white guy comes into the tribe and goes, "You have a noble connection with the land. The way you live is better and more pure than the way that I live. I need to be assimilated into your culture." And I remember sitting in the theater and we got to the part where they're like, she's been assigned to him as his like cultural tutor
liaison.
And and I remember they were running around on the trees and I had the thought like, this is just Pocahontas. And I kind of laughed to myself and I'm like, oh man, they're just doing Pocahontas. It must get more complicated later because like everyone loves this movie. So like something else must be good. And I clearly remember leaving the movie theater with that feeling of it's almost like a type of dread where you're like, oh, that was it.
That was it, yeah.
And that's what I remember most about this film. And no, I did not watch it ever. This was my first time returning to it. Like I said, I literally forgot Sigourney Weaver. I forgot Michelle Rodriguez was in this movie. Granted, this was an early role for her. But I was like, Jesus Christ. The lesbian mental failure that happened to me with this film.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. That's again, I think that was you.
No,
like everyone remembers Sigourney Weaver and Michelle Gonzalez in this movie. I do want to say I like your point about the white boy going native thing because to connect it also to we were talking about like the technology that Marvel ended up just using so relentlessly that now movies are fucking unwatchable.
The green screen movie.
Marvel also does the white boy going native thing every 3 properties. Yeah. So like that's like just another thing to think about.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. My background with this movie is I love it. I've watched it so many times. I love this franchise. People are like Star Wars or Star Trek, and I'm like James Cameron's Avatar, the best sci-fi franchise ever made. I refuse to.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think that's invalid, but my immediate question is like, there's so little of it still.
Comic series, games. There's a mobile game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like there's okay. I will
you
say
still
there's
waiting
like
on those novels.
Of course there is though.
There are novels, and I have a couple. But no, it's one of those things where it's like if you just had the good parts of Star Wars, but you just had the bad parts of Star Wars. Does that make sense?
It was the good parts of Star Wars. It was the bad parts of Star Wars.
Anyway, what happened in Avatar?
No. We have one more production fact, Brian. Please tell us the other lingering legacy for you of James Cameron's beautiful world.
Oh, I don't know that this is a production fact. I guess
no, this is a production fact.
To avoid getting too personal, although I will say, like, if you've listened to this podcast and you know anything about it's pretty obvious. I know someone who is in this movie. I grew up with a son of theirs,
Michelle Rodriguez,
and Michelle Rodriguez. That's right. I grew up with Michelle Rodriguez's son. Time is really weird. And I happen to know that they used their paycheck from this movie to buy a Toyota Prius, which again at the time was like a legendary vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
Right now it's like a roller skate, but at the time that was like
Hybrids
the
were,
thing,
like,
you know.
hot.
Hybrids were so hot.
Yeah.
And it was a blue Prius, and we called it the Navi Prius because it was blue, and they had used their Avatar money to buy it.
Thank you. I just was like, where else are we gonna fit this in where it features prominently? I wanted it right up top as our crown jewel of our coverage.
I've been in the only real vehicle from this movie, the only real mech, which is the Avatar Prius.
The Avatar, which will be in consideration for our ratings now. The Avatar Prius.
The Navi Prius.
What happened in Avatar by James Cameron? I wrote this synopsis. I didn't copy this one. I'm very proud of me.
I love that.
I love this for you.
200 years in the future, ultra endgame capitalism has led to Jake Sully, a former Marine with spine damage, causing him to become paraplegic. Oh man, I did not write this well.
Yeah, I was wondering where that sentence was going, Bestie.
A former Marine with spine damage causing him to become paraplegic has led Jake Sully to become paraplegic. Oof, writing as good as the movie. Science could fix him, but the VA, the Veterans Administration, won't cover the cost. Wow, this movie. Okay. He's approached by 2 agents of the Resources Development Administration, a corporation that has the mineral rights to a far-off moon called Pandora. As part of eco-washing their strip mining, they're funding a science program where humans can brain-drive lab-grown Na'vi, the native population of Pandora, to connect with the population and learn how best to exploit the land. Jake is then torn between that sweet, sweet blue alien sex and his love of colonialism. But, unsurprisingly, spending time with the local population and learning their way of living can be enough to make anyone who isn't a gigantic asshole empathetic to their plight. Look, let's get it out of the way. If you've seen any Man Goes Native helps them fight back against colonialism story, that's it. But hey, the ending fight is pretty fucking cool. Humans lose, get kicked off the planet, and corporate shillman tells us that this isn't over, which will come true 13 years later with the sequel. And with that, let's head to the break.
Hey, Nico here in the break. Just popping in to say that while this is a podcast and we'll always do our best to describe the visuals we're commenting on, we'll also include a link in the show notes to the OSG website where you can find all the mechs, scenes, and other images we go over. The show notes and website also have content warnings as appropriate for each episode. One more thing, did you know we have a Ko-fi? We decided it was time to pass the offering plate and see if we could swing some new mics, subsidize some of our hosting fees, and justify watching Scarlett Johansson's Ghost in the Shell to ourselves, which absolutely requires bribery. Check it out at kofi.com/OSGpod. That's KO-fi.com/OSGPOD. You can give us a little walking around money with a one-time donation. And hey, whether you can come up with a few bucks or you just stick with sharing and enjoying the show, thank you. It's a real joy to make this and know you're out there listening to it. That's it. Back to the show. I like that you said that like he created a prophecy that James Cameron manifested.
Hey, remember at the end of District 9 when he says, I'll be back in 3 years, and there wasn't a movie 3 years later where they came back? I'm still mad about it.
Oh, I love you. The shit that okay, sucks. Enjoy
so,
her.
I struggled with how we could attack this nuanced story and plot. So we have 3 parts. Let's jump into the first one. So, first off, up top, we have to say it. Set your bar for the writing. The MacGuffin mineral they are mining is called unobtainium. I must be clear at the level of writing we are dealing with right now.
I kept waiting for one of the scientists to correct him. Like, I kept waiting for one of the scientists to say, no, it's actually, called this, and it has a serious name. No. The whole time it's just unobtainium.
So, arriving at Pandora, part 1. Jake is found destitute and coerced into a cryo-sleep trip to Pandora. He'll be working with the science nerds instead of the marine jocks. We get a lot of world building, some cool science, and a big speech by the main asshole. Jake gets into his avatar, well, his dead twin brother's avatar, and goes hog wild with it. So, hey guys, let's talk right up top. I love the sci-fi of this. The deaccelerating ship with the solar panels and the design is immaculate to me.
To back up a little bit because I did accidentally watch the extended version. I will say one thing that's very stark from the beginning when you see Jake Sully there's literally a bar fight where he sees a guy hurting a woman because of course it's the classic things to do at bars.
We've all seen the beginning of Con Air. Yeah.
Yeah, but he does this incredible, I think it's frankly a pretty good bit of action maneuvering where the guy's sitting on a bar stool and so he can beat the shit out of him while being a paraplegic, he attacks the bar stool so the guy falls on the ground and then just starts beating the shit out of him. And the dialogue that happens in here is like, I just wanted one thing in my life to care about. And it was wild. But he gets thrown out on his ass into an alley and he just lays there looking up. Lays there looking up at the sky. He lives in a cyberpunk dystopia. Everything is concrete or neon advertisements. And so I do think that's an interesting thing that I don't want people to have to watch the extended version. But there is an interesting contrast here between how fucked the Earth is and how concreted over the Earth is versus when he gets to Pandora. You kind of get why the white boy got a little quirked up.
Right. Yeah. So that background's really cool. The corporate schlocks are just like, do this. We basically get confirmation that Earth is now a corporatocracy. Run by mega corporations who just act as their own. The Marines work
for the corporations.
Yeah, they're technically sec ops is what they're called in universe because it's like all It's a hellscape. James Cameron does very good at showing the natural progression of late stage capitalism into what the world does, right?
I guess. Well, these are the most obvious answers you could arrive at.
They really are. What is
not
the future of Earth as viewed from 2009?
And yet some people in our current world have not come to those conclusions,
Yeah, I mean, there's always something to be said about that.
Run concrete companies is the main thing that we need to keep in mind. And they're excited for the concrete future.
We need to keep an eye on them.
I love that in the cryosleep ship, they each have individual lockers that are kind of just floating in the middle. I thought that was really cool.
It feels like art designers, environment designers, set designers got to have a little fun with it. There's a lot of sci-fi stuff here. Again, the whole movie is like, it's hard to comment on one thing because if you've seen a sci-fi movie, you've seen part of this movie because it's put everything in a blender. So, like, if you've seen a movie where they have cryosleep, you've seen this movie. Like, if you've seen a movie where there are Marines.
I like how they do it. I don't know.
There are Marines.
So when they drop to the planet, we get the porn shots of them flying through Pandora in the shuttle. It's like, Pandora's a moon of a gas giant, which I think is a pretty cool thing. It's not a planet proper itself. It has lower gravity because it's a smaller planet, which is used as a way to make a lot of the technology make sense with the VTOLs and stuff, and why everybody's so tall. The avatars are 9 feet tall versus a human. When they get there, though, we get our, like, your standard, like, here is our fence keeping the forest out. We are here. And then there's just oil refineries just right there. They're like, immediately we see it.
They have the pulverizer or the evil machine from Fern Gully. Like, they have a machine that is just like 500 mechanical teeth.
It's that giant strip miner from Germany times 20.
Yeah.
Everything feels very Warhammer 40K.
They have the pollution machine.
A little bit, yeah. All of these machines do look, most of these machines look pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the giant megastructure drill thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like the VTOL shuttles that have like the things around the blades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think we immediately have an interesting contrast. Like, we just talked about this in the Extreme Meat Punks episode because there's a very sus character there. And part of the reason he's so sus is because everyone else is using meat and he has like a fucking iPad. Like, there's an interesting contrast here between organic technology versus inorganic technology. And obviously humans only really have... So... I was frustrated with this movie because the story is so nothing, but having done this show for so long, I had so many interesting mech thoughts because of this movie. And one of them for me, Alice, you said the Na'vi are 9 feet tall.
Yep.
When we see them in combat, the mechs that are in this movie, because y'all, there's a reason we're covering this. There are literal metal
We're
mechs
about
in
to
this
talk
movie.
about them. Yep.
They're like of a size with the Na'vi. So it's not like they're making huge mechs to do a lot of this drilling. Mechs are being created as non-biological bodies to try to interface with a world that is at a different scale than humanity. Which immediately I was like, well, fuck me. It's doing stuff with scale. It's grudgingly locking in.
It is, but I think Alice wants to talk about the mechs, and I just say I agree. I had all those thoughts, and they were undercut by the fact that these are the ugliest fucking mechs I've ever seen.
They're not great. Okay, we'll get there.
The Mitsubishi MK6 Amplified Mobility Platform, known simply
They're
as the
not literally
AMSuit.
Mitsubishis.
Just want to be clear, canonically, Mitsubishi makes these.
Okay, never mind. Avatar's the best movie ever made.
So these are military exoskeletons. We also see some harness suits in the later movies, but what is it? So it's basically a giant canopied cockpit. To go with your, like, it's kind of interfacing with the world. When we think of mechs, we think of like a digital screen. This just has like what is essentially a helicopter cockpit so that you can see around. To the point that has rear view mirrors.
I think it's... okay, first of all, I love that it has rear view mirrors. Second of all, I think... Listen, I know it's not structurally sound. I love a glass wall cockpit. Fuck it. There's a point at which a guy has to eject his windshield because it's too damaged to see through. I love it. I ended up really enjoying that.
I like that idea. I just think it looks terrible here.
The hips are bad.
I think that in the first couple shots when they're flying the shuttle and you see that they have like a video game HUD in their cockpit, I really like the way that looks. But then when you get in the mech, it's like the stinkiest little rearview mirror. I do not like the way any of the things with the mechs in this like look or feel or operate.
So it reminds me of the headless whatever from Heavenly Tyrant.
Oh, the headless
and,
warrior. Yeah,
Headless
because it
Warrior,
doesn't have a
where
head or a neck.
Its arms are at the top of its head. It uses little
My
skids to
arms
your
are
feet.
up here.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's very much so. I think what's most important about this is it's a simplistic interface that kind of feels like a gun. So you have gloves you wear, giant Nintendo Power Gloves that just mimic the hands.
It reminded me of Pat Labor because
Yeah.
there's the whole sequence we get at the beginning of Pat Labor 2 where they go through like the technical aspects of piloting one of these machines, and one of the things they have is like the glove that articulates to your hand. And I was like, I like that. It's a cool reference. I like when there's a glove.
Yeah.
I do like the gloves. The gloves are all right.
I enjoy the fact that it does just seem like there is a this is the me coming out. There's a standardization. We see a scene in the hangar coming up where like there's just rows of these. And there's like just weapon stands for the weapons. It's such a generic rifleman kind of mech. I do want to, here's the thing. I want to kind of pull some of the extended universe into this, which I know we're going off of reservation for OSG, but let me have this moment. There's a actually okay action RPG called Frontiers of Pandora, set in the Avatar universe, in which you are the Na'vi fighting back against the RDA. And they expand the AMP universe so much. I want to point you to the James Cameron Avatar Fandom.com wiki, where you can scroll through the many different variants of the AMP that we see. I think some of them are cool. And then you also see the combat exos, which are kind of the smaller, just like personal guy. You see that in the second movie.
The four-legged hammer one rules. I have
Smasher?
to just say.
I will say,
Yeah.
I like this as a thing. Alice will know this. A technical is a vehicle in military parlance that has like technicals tend to be like basically trucks or Hummers with guns mounted on them. They come in a million different versions. The Iraq War was great for many different types of technicals as we tried not to be blown up by IEDs every 5 minutes. And the technical on the insurgent side is often a Toyota Hilux with someone in the back shooting at us. I love that these are manufactured by Mitsubishi and then customized and have a million different iterations with different levels of armor. It does feel military in the way that it's like, here's our technical. We contract with Mitsubishi. They give us a basic model, and then we customize it with more armor, more guns, different configurations. Like, that does seem to appeal to the I love the standing man emoji.
And then I also, we haven't covered Matrix, but I feel like the Matrix 3 mechs get brought up a lot in kind of a discussion of like tertiary mechs that kind of would work into our oeuvre.
Sorry, I'm obsessed with the I've gone to James Cameron's Avatar Universe wiki. I'm obsessed with the AMP Defender because the way they've mounted the guns on top, they make it look like a head, and that is giving me the giggles. I'm kind of obsessed with his gun head, his literal gun head.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's pretty
is that
cool.
Gunhead from Gunhead?
It's Gunhead from Gunhead.
It's Gunhead from Gunhead.
I forgot my thought, but with the chain coming down with the bullets, it evoked that mech to me from Matrix 3.
Yeah.
And then lastly,
Totally. I can see
here's
that.
why I kind of want us to, from a mech podcast perspective, take this to heart, is they built the sets with these. These are not all CGI. They built like standing man robots for the movie. And they move. So if you watch this, they like put it on pivots for a lot of the like they just did the cockpit for like filming purposes, but seeing the behind the scenes footage for this really made me think of like if Gunhead had money, like they would be this intense about it.
Oh my god, I'm fucked. I want to go climb into one of these. Shit.
I want to climb into one of these. Why did they have all this? And I feel like the mechs look really bad when they're moving in the movie.
Yeah.
And like they have all this and they still look really bad. It's really strange.
Well, I think
this like breaks me a little bit. I don't understand what's going on.
I struggle. Okay. So there's a line early in the movie when he's like, you'll get weak if you're on Pandora because it's lower gravity. And I think because of the level of autism that James Cameron has, all of the things in this move as if they're in a lower gravity. And I think that's what's upsetting about these. When you see the movie, they're moving at lower gravity and they have a quickness to them that I just really don't like. With their design seems like there should be more weight to what they do.
Yeah, no, you're right.
In a way
This video
weightless.
is so cool.
They feel weightless, and that's intentional. God, I hate that you.
I want to
pointed
get
this
in the
out now.
I want to get in the jiggler cockpit in front of the green screen, please.
Oh my god!
Hold on, I have to adjust my rating. I'm adjusting my rating. Hold
Live
on,
adjustments.
So the pitch is we're going to build different mech cockpits on actuators and just get 360 screens and do like just Battletech shit. Like, I feel like this is the sim cockpit I want. This video will be on the webzone, guys.
Oh,
that we're
fuck
talking about.
me. Shit. No, I just realized that I now have to give this at least a 6 because I just Googled amp cockpit prop sale, which is the equivalent of can I get a model kit? Fuck.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, yeah. If you want to do that to yourself, you can.
If this was in somebody's garage and we could acquire it and then put it in Alice's garage.
Alice, by the way, Alice's expression has been. This is possibly the greatest day of Alice's life.
It's so much fun. I love it.
Alice is experiencing joy, and that makes it all
Having
worth
so
it.
much fun. Okay, so we need to talk about two other main parts of this. His speech is insane. We don't need to talk about it, but it's the speech. I like the American flag with 100 stars. That's pretty cool. Don't know if anybody else
That's
noticed that.
fucked up.
I did not
It
see
was
that
fucked.
shit. Oh my god.
But
Avatar
we
is
did-
a film that rewards multiple viewings.
So Jake is getting off of the jet, and an amp almost runs into him and then insults him for it by calling him Hot Wheels. So I just want to put out there that this movie did get U.S. Marines correct. That they are just they are bad.
The culture most respectfully represented in this film is the culture of the Jarhead clan.
I will say.
So I'm putting on a new character right now. This is a traffic lawyer. I just want to say that Jake Sully had broken containment, and if you're in a mech suit, you don't expect a brand new Avatar patient to run across your immediate. Like, there was clearly a road there that he ran across without looking.
Me when I'm in
I just
my
wanna
mech
say-
movie, and then the fucking James Cameron movie crosses my path, and I'm like, whoa!
We get what I like to call is Jake Sully is an asshole isms start pretty quickly. So they're like, hey, that's your avatar. Guys, let's talk about the other mech in this because it is a mech. Let's talk about the avatars, guys.
Yeah, let's do it.
So
Yeah.
avatars were designed by Sigourney Weaver
Thanks, Sigourney Weaver.
it is a splice of Na'vi DNA, so the native population, and human DNA. So they have, instead of the Na'vi have 4 fingers, the human clone avatars have 5. They are made on Earth, and in the 6-year journey, it's a 6-year journey from Earth that they're like moving things in. They grow it in a vat. And then how you get into it is you go into a pod where you put a little light on top of you. It's very sci-fi. You go into the wall and then you pilot it. Your brain consciousness goes into it remotely.
You fall asleep, you wake up in the body. When the body falls asleep, you wake up in your body.
You're a dream walker.
I love the cockpit pods. I think the goop. I want to touch that
when he
goop
was
so
touching it, I
bad.
was
I
like,
want to touch the
"Lovely
goop
goop."
so
My
bad.
immediate thought is they're in there for so long. How do they not get bed sores? The goop, med goop.
The goop.
The goop,
And I
metagoop.
can't emphasize enough these look like coffins.
They got Bacta.
These look more like
They do.
coffins than the cryopods that they come out of at the beginning, which I think is interesting considering some of the shit that happens later with people. But like, there's definitely and this echoes, another extended, I saw the extended version of this movie.
Yeah.
So the reason that Jake gets this contract is because his twin brother was supposed to be part of this team. And so genetically he can hop in because these are specially engineered. He can save the cost on this unit from being wasted. When his brother is cremated, because he's taken by the authorities to identify his brother before his body is cremated, his brother is in a cardboard box. Like, there's huge cardboard box coffins that people are put in. I do like the repeated imagery of the different types of coffins that you're put into as you go into this film. Like, I think that's cool. But you get a nicer coffin if you're going to pilot out of it.
That's a good. I like that. I think it's also from a like cool sci-fi perspective. I love when it's like, well, we have to make it with your DNA so you don't freak out and have a mental break because your body is not your body anymore. Like, it's easier to pilot if you kind of know what you're getting into in a cool way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so they wake up, and we have Jake's best friend, the nerd scientist that isn't Sigourney Weaver. I'm going to call him the beta scientist from now on, so we all know who we're talking about. He's like, I studied for this. I learned the language. I'm a nerd who went to college. And he's like doing the test where like, and even we've all here suffered a bout of unconsciousness and had to go through concussion checks with an EMT, right? We've all done that, just me. Okay. But they sit you through basically medical things. They sit you through, they walk you through post-surgery when they make you like check things, you know? And Jake Sully gets up and he's like, oh my God, my legs work. And it just becomes a giant asshole, smashes everything, runs outside. And they're like, hey, we have to do our job that you're hired to be here to do. What are you doing? Stop that.
I do think that there's... Oh, Brian, go ahead, because I think you're about to get to the same point.
I just I like this scene. I kind of feel like Jake Sully's not an asshole in this scene because he's a paraplegic who gets to walk for the first time. I would go hog wild too.
This reminds me of something we talked about in the Fallout Power Armor special, to do a throwback, is that there is a character in Fallout 4 that presents the first time we ever see this on screen, where she uses a power armor frame because she is a double amputee from the thigh down.
Right.
We talk about it a little bit on this show, but the idea of your mech not just being an augment to your physicality from just an abled person, but your mech almost being an assistive or adaptive or mobility device is a really interesting thing here. And I think there's an interesting component added because this is your meat mech, right? This is your avatar, your second body. And yeah, you get up and not only... Because there's a different dimension to it, right? Like, he sits up, and it's not that he's just in a mech and now he can move around under his own power the way he can in his wheelchair. He sits up and he has nerve endings again. He can wiggle his toes. He can feel things. Like, but I felt like there was euphoria in this scene. Yeah, he's a little bit of a dick, but, like, obviously there's euphoria because, like, he can run again in a way that, like, this is the only chance he would have had to have this happen, because otherwise... His disability is just held over his head as leverage the rest of this movie.
Yeah, it's literally used as his driving factor is to get that mobility back.
And I will say, you can make a commentary about, like, this is an interesting riff on the white man goes native narrative, because this is a white man who's been marginalized by society going, like, if I inhabit this different space... I regain dignity and ability and health that my home society has denied me. And we've definitely seen, like, there were definitely Native groups that treated escaped black slaves in America poorly, but there were also groups who took them in. And there are reasons that there are black people who have Native heritage and there are Native people who have black heritage. There were situations, at least in the American indigenous and that interaction between cultures, where people were marginalized from a dominant society and ended up finding sanctuary with another marginalized society in a way that I think is... You're only in the
in-group until you're not, you know?
Exactly.
Like,
and I feel like that's a little stronger than something like John Smith and Pocahontas.
Is this a queer story?
No, shut the... oh my God, we can't get into the trans rights.
Wait, no, we're gonna talk about this right now because... Hey, Alice, I've known you for 3 minutes, and in those 3 minutes, you've only screamed and run away from things, but you have a strong heart and no fear, which is why I'm going to save you from these wild beasts.
Oh my God.
Part 2, going native. Going out on a science expedition, Jake gets in a fight with native fauna and is saved by the literal princess of the local tribe.
Jesus Christ,
he is left behind by the humans, and over the course of the next 3 months, ingratiates himself with their culture and gets some of that sweet, sweet Na'vi hair noodling with his new bae. This is great.
Oh, okay. So you know the Onion article that's like lowest level talks, and it's like an American schlub and a Chinese schlub? Someday I want to see one of these fucking white guy goes native stories where it's like the lamest white guy joins the lamest native guy. And they have no standing at all, but they're just like, we're homies forever, and I'm not gonna let your tribe die, dude. And everyone else is like, you are not a decision maker. You're not part of this conversation.
You're just a guy. It's the dude who runs the giant remote controlled dump trucks, and he's like, I understand you. It's like, you're no
I need the lowest level talks in one of these narratives.
It's like the stupidest romance, because all he does is say, I'm willing to try anything at least once, and he's also immediately good at everything at once. And like,
oh god, this presents a dark possibility that if the Na'vi had pussy, he would eat pussy and he'd just be good at it naturally. Thankfully they don't, and we're all spared.
Cool. I'm not sure that this brought up that question. Again, I think this might have been a you thing.
No, I think this is one of James Cameron's preoccupation in the film franchise.
Got it. Yeah. Totally.
Okay, but like, you're going down on a Na'vi chick, and you look up and meet eyes, and she looks down at you and says,
I see you.
Alice, I have a serious question. Na'vi have tits, Na'vi have belly buttons.
Yep.
Na'vi do not have, that we've seen, vaginal passages that live young can come out of. Do they come out of the hair? I can't explain how much.
No. They come out of the cloaca.
Okay, let's keep moving. Let's keep going.
No, okay, so something you will notice is while the models do not have genitalia, if you watch this movie closely, they are so clearly never showing you a crotch that is not covered of a Na'vi, because canonically, they are mammals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Anyway.
There's a pussy down there. Anyway, anybody else have any thoughts of this section? I feel like this is such a non-section where it's like, he literally, I mean, he's not sleeping right. He's very much loving being out there. The colonel is like, hey, get us information about how we can make the natives want to move, with no plans to ever actually move them and not just shoot them. It's so sauceless.
My riff quote from the intro is from this section when Jake says learning the language is a pain, but I think of it like field stripping a weapon. The only person on earth that's allowed to say this line and have it land is David Hayter. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Yeah, that's so true.
This movie, but it's David Hayter. I would love that. Oh my god.
Then it would be a good movie. No, I was gonna say, I do think there's something interesting here happening. We've talked before about like people who feel more comfortable in their cockpit than they do outside of it. Like, I think mostly, unfortunately, we were talking about nuisance daily life of a robot-dependent girl, but that is something we've talked about on the show before. It's like, I only feel comfortable in here. We touched on a little bit of it with Isami having a breakdown for multiple days inside Bravern, but like, you know, there's this idea that it's like, you're only safe in here, but I also... A thing that we see coming up several times in this movie is that Jake is neglecting his human body and be like in the rack for like 16 hours at a time, like doing this stuff because his preference is to be in the other body, which I think is both, if we really want to stretch it, team, we could go, okay, this has some trans valences. This also obviously has disability politics valences. Like, you gain a way to move in a way that you don't previously have access to anymore. Like, it is freeing. Some things do suffer. Like,
I think you could also give it to like an appeal to naturalism and going to simpler thoughts, coming from a hyper science society where, like, I mean, they have fucking cryo sleep and they could fix his spine, but everything's concrete and gray and ugly. They, like, very intentionally, the set design of everything is, like, gray and ugly. And Pandora is beautiful and bright and brilliant. And, like, there is, I think that there's a lot to say for that about, like, how some people do, you know, yearn for a more nature-driven life.
I think a lot of Jake's story is trying to find a place he fits in, because in the beginning, he is gung-ho to support the Marines. Like, he clearly got mustered out of the Marines because he became a paraplegic and everyone treated him like shit and left him to die in a gutter. But now that he's back in the fold, there's initial, like, really strong enthusiasm to be part of this mission, to work with the Marines, to, like...
It's wild. Yeah. We didn't talk about it. There's some shot blocking early on that's, like, really, 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 like, asphyxiating to me, where Jake is like smiling and his face is like bathed in golden light. And the voiceover is literally the Colonel's like racist, unbelievable speech. It's like, what the fuck am I watching for a second there?
It's instructive if you want to look at it for like, why do people turn to cults? Why do people turn to paramilitary organizations? Why do people turn to conspiracy theories?
Yeah,
when
totally.
You've been so marginalized, like if you have a chance to get back in with an in-group, but as we said in the Meat Punks episode, at the end of the day, he's always going to be Hot Wheels to these people. He's always going to be lesser than. The only option he really has here is to what he ultimately does, if he wants to be fully incorporated.
And I like what you said about the disability politics thing of it too, because he says everything is backwards now. Like out there is the real world, and in here is the dream. And then,
but the thing about dreams is you have to wake up.
Right. We're turning up the stakes here and the tension, quote unquote. We all know what's happening. But at one point, the general says. And this delivery is so fucking funny. He says, "You gonna get your legs back," and
yep, line of all time.
And Jake, like, I think this is actually kind of well acted because Jake like looks kind of disappointed. Like, I don't want my legs. I want blue legs.
Yeah,
that's the legs.
I want 6 feet long legs.
What would I be using those legs for? Going back to Earth?
Yeah,
I like being able to jump and ride a fucking dragon. That shit.
And it's also getting into like the power fantasy of a video game, the power fantasy of any kind of fictional space where you can project yourself, except for him. Both spaces are real and both spaces are under threat in this way. Like, yeah.
No, okay. Some more sauceless romance happens at the Tree of Life.
Yeah.
She literally says, "You may choose a woman."
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good. And he's like, I don't want those other two. I obviously want you. And she's like,
So,
but she makes good bread at home.
Navi queer culture clearly doesn't exist. Alex, do they add that in the following films? Do we get gay Navi in the following films, or is this still a perfect heterosexual fantasy?
What is it? Fire and Ash? The fire Navi are gonna be fiery Latino Navi that make out with each other in the both boys.
The main guy from because you've all seen the extended trailer that he only showed when the re-release of Way of Water happened.
No, Alice, I have never intentionally seen a trailer for Avatar.
I love them. Watch them on repeat. Go to sleep to them. So, hey, let's touch our hair noodles, which is sex to Navi, and then let's lay on the ground. So here's another mech thing, which is when you're not in the Avatar, you're not in the Avatar. And as prescribed 3 months ago when the Colonel said, hey, we're sending giant bulldozers there in 3 months, the bulldozers arrive.
It's bulldozer o'clock.
They show up. She has to like drag his body around until he plugs in.
I will say this is pretty affecting. This is like, if we think about it,
this ruled. This whole sequence was my favorite part. I think
it's so like I felt so much tension. And then Jake Sully, who everybody knows his face, decides to destroy the camera from the front on this thing, and we get. What might be the great... So we did talk about that. The evil corporation is being run out of what is an air control tower with the coolest fucking like 3D projector screens with little tablets and shit and the air control stuff. And then they got trucker guy who's wearing a trucker cap and a vest.
Yes.
And he drives the big
This is so good. I actually loved all of this.
Yeah.
This was so good.
And he's like, we got natives attacking us. And they're like, just have the Marines that are there just pop some shots. And they're like, oh shit, is that Jake Sully?
The idea that in the future, the Mega XLR guy's outfit is your pilot uniform for piloting the mega structure bulldozer is just like, mwah, it's incredible. I also love the bulldozer. I think it looks so crazy and scary and so horrible. And I like this. I don't know. I just this is where everything shined.
The mechanical design is really cool. Like I would like a lot of these figures, and if anyone asked me where they were from, I'd be like,
Avatar.
Avatar.
But you know what I think is a really cool moment, which is the Avatar system is your human body has to be in one of the coffins. and the colonel just walks downstairs and hits the eject button on them.
There's a couple of sequences where they just cut the line and you just see Sigourney Weaver or you just see Jake just like drop, and it's affecting every time. It's really interesting.
It rules. It's good.
Thinking about digital piloting and thinking about like the situations where if the Major had a kill switch like this, different people would have punched that button and just dropped her is really interesting. If we're talking You're in the Shell, this is an interesting thing where it's like you don't actually fully inhabit your body. Like, you are always a button push away from being cut off from this other self and this other interface.
So we have to go to the third act of how all of these movies end, which is the Scorched Earth, Part 3.
Well, tell us about Tree 9/11, Alice.
Mining operations make it near Home Tree, which is their home tree. The scientists go off-grid and try to help the Na'vi to organize a war party to fight back against the humans. Humans go all-out war and try to bomb the home tree, which again is the Na'vi's home tree. The Na'vi win with the help of Awa, the planet, and all is well on Pandora. So, couple things. Love when the new white guy is made the war chief immediately. A++, love that.
Again,
never not a great
The
thing.
number one hobby of white guys is to come into an indigenous culture and be indigenous better than anyone else.
If I'm to tell you in the second movie, it is just Jake trying to convince the Na'vi that they have to fight back. That's the entire second movie, but it's to other tribes.
Which is so funny because that happens off screen in this movie.
Okay, so
Basically, there's a little montage.
I love, which tribe are you? Are you the Horse Plain tribe? Are you the coastal tribe that looks kind of Japanese?
So Alice, actually, Kyle, I watched this with Kyle. Kyle and I had a question.
Husband of the pod, Kyle.
So, because the second movie pivots on the idea of like a big rival quote unquote tribe, right? Or is it a rival tribe or is it a different race of Na'vi?
It's a different...
Is there race?
Yes, there's different races. So the idea is, in the second movie, it becomes untenable for Jake to stay there because he's the most wanted Na'vi. And he will lead to the destruction of the tribes in the forest, which he's a part of. So he leaves to go to the Maui people, and they are fish-style Na'vi. So they have like their whole body is like made to live in water over centuries. So they're different. And there's like some like, hey, why are you look different? You don't even have fins. Like it very much deals into that.
James Cameron invented fish colorism.
So there are many different tribes, but the tribes in this are all the same race.
Mad respect
of Na'vi.
I see. Okay, that's what we thought. All right.
Yeah.
Guys, it's such a great story. Okay, hey guys, how should we carpet bomb the enemy? I know. Well, we can just jump through this because like the two fights are pretty much like they come and bomb it, they gas them. It's gonna be humane, right? Like we'll gas them, we'll blow up the tree.
I was kind of taken aback by actually how grim and brutal this is. Like, this is incredibly violent.
I mentioned this. I don't know if it made it on the recording. I mentioned this in the pre-recording. Somebody actually, because this was the era we were in, an interviewer put the question to James Cameron, like, how do you answer accusations that the scene of the destruction of Home Tree looks too much like 9/11? And James Cameron's response to that was basically like, damn, it do look like 9/11, don't it?
Yeah, Na'vi 9/11. So Home Tree has multiple pillars, and the only way they can cut this down is through the use of high explosive warheads.
Oh, and we need to specify, they're not just coming out here to stunt on them. The maximum deposit of unobtainium is under the fucking Home Tree, which does suggest that they're mining spiritual energy.
They are. The biggest... Did we cover something that was like that? Anyway, the most important part is it's the biggest deposit within 200 kilometers. We didn't look anywhere else, but that's the only option we have.
Well, you have to think it's under people's home corals or their home plateau or whatever. It's always going to be under where the Na'vi are because the implication, at least to me, the inference I made, is the reason that this magic ore exists is because the Na'vi people are basically, they're more connected to the planet and they're feeding energy into the planet. Like,
feeding thoughts and memories. We can just say it. The planet of Pandora is a living biome that has a consciousness and spiritual energy, and like it has synapses through everything. That's the thing, is everything's connected through synapses. It's basically a giant brain. She explained, Sigourney gives it. And these are all just like, it's a living creature.
Which, like, I think that's pretty cool.
I think it's cool.
You know.
A literal world mind is kind of interesting. I wish
when you
it wasn't
die,
literally...
you feed your memories into it to be reborn as a new creature, which is a really cool thing I like. They transfer consciousness with it.
I wish it wasn't paired directly with a lot of really harmful native stereotypes, but like, you know, it is what it is. The sci-fi here is kind of interesting. I will say something to talk about here is like, obviously the scientists are going rogue. Sigourney Weaver gets shot during one of these battles and is dying. And so they make the decision to try to permanently transfer her into her Navi. And the sequence in which this happens is both like painfully kind of racist because it's clearly doing native stuff, but it's also clearly doing like tribes of Africa stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's been explicitly mentioned in it. Again, if everyone non-white just amalgamated into blue people. But anyway, but they try to do this sequence using the interface of like the Tree of Souls to do this. And it's something we see executed successfully later. But like, she dies. Yeah. It's worth, I wanted to bring that up because this is the first time we see someone try to basically permanently inhabit their mech, so to speak. Yeah, Alice.
Hi, Avatar correspondent Alice coming in here. The second movie revises this. She didn't die.
Which is wild to me because they could have literally just said, like, her consciousness went into the Tree of Souls, so then it's available to be reborn, like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
they
she's in a comatose state.
That's so stupid. She fucking died here, and I think that would have been stronger. I listen. What's his face from Robot? Sargon should have died. Sigourney should have died.
I want to
for very different reasons, to be clear, but those are two true facts. But if
Sigourney fell off a jungle gym, I would also say this.
So to get into it, we get like what is essentially like about an hour long of helicopters shooting missiles and Na'vi shooting arrows. We can kind of, it's the dumbest plan ever.
It's so long. This goes on for so long.
Again, this is a technical
it's
commercial.
Baffling.
Like, it's a, hey, look, we can do really hardcore machines. We can do organic shapes. We can do these things.
I could
interacting.
not. My eyes were glazing over. I had to like rewind a couple times. I was like, I am just so bored and lost. I will say this is the Michelle Rodriguez Chad moments. I do think like a lot of this is stupid and a lot of it is playing with stupid indigeneity, but I do like that they gave her like a little bit of war paint too, the way that they all have their war paint. Like she has a little cunty eyeshadow look while she's piloting her helicopter. Okay, sorry. Alice gets to do this, so I'm going to do it too. The costume design for Michelle Rodriguez in this movie was made for me. Just for me. There's like a weird like bustier kind of like extended cargo pant kind of deal with like a really nice top, like a loose kind of tank top kind of deal. Anyway, she dies. Obviously, they blow her up. Does she come back in the second movie?
Nope. I also love that they paint her VTOL with war paint too, which is something I really enjoy.
Yes, they do.
Well, another type of mech we have not approached here is the flying beasts, and I forget what they're called. I'm sure James Cameron has a beautiful name for them.
The pterodactyls.
Obviously, everyone, when you pilot a horse, when you pilot a flying creature, I call it piloting because you literally link into it with your braid, which in Cyberpunk would be like you run the wire to your head. The way they do in Ghost in the Shell. Like you can plug into a machine, you plug into these organic creatures.
This is just kind of grosser. But cool, but grosser.
That in my mind like makes the horse a type of mech because you have like a direct interface. It makes the flying creature, and then later we see like Tunok or whatever. Like the Predator becomes this kind of thing, and I like that they treat Michelle Rodriguez's helicopter, her like VTOL, in a very similar way, even though that's clearly a different relationship. I think that's cool.
I love that, if I'm a woman and my fiance / husband has done something completely unforgivable and I'm grieving the death of my father, you know what would fix me? If he showed up on the Alpha Beast, then my downstairs is immediately flooded and everything is forgiven instantaneously.
Literally everyone says, yeah, you're cool again. You got the big guy.
Fun. I think it's fun that they towed Sigourney Weaver's empty body out of there, but they fucking left Jake. They left Jake at Ground Zero.
Jake woke up at Ground Zero. It's real. He was covered in the ash. Iron ash? So two things I want to say here, which is when they are escaping in the helicopter, we get what was my favorite scene of Colonel Quatrick, which is he walks over to the emergency exit, yells, "Masks on," because we haven't talked about it, but it's poisonous on Pandora. You'll pass out in 20 seconds breathing the air. He yells, "Mask on," holds his breath, and goes out and just starts blasting. And everybody else is like, "Oh shit, breach, put your masks on. Oh, fuck." And then like a guy runs out and hands him a mask, and I'm like, fuck this guy.
He is an interesting character in the sense he literally has a conversation with Jake very early on where he has these 3 scars across his face. He's clearly been cut by something. And he says, on rotation, I could just go home and they'd pretty me up again. But I decided to keep it. It reminds me it's real out here, like it's dangerous out here. This guy is living a power fantasy of being the ultimate Marine in a place where the threats can actually kill you. Like, it's mentioned over and over that Pandora is so dangerous, and we don't really see that through Jake. Like, we see it a little bit, but then he immediately starts, like, bonding with the environment. The evil Marine guy he's doing, like, ultimate PvE stuff. Like, he is really getting off on how much this environment is literally able to threaten him in a world where he could conceivably at any time have any ailment fixed.
Yeah. Hey, just to reinforce your point here, does anybody know what his call sign is when he's in the battleship in the last battle?
No.
It's Papa Dragon.
Jesus fucking
There's a
Christ.
dragon on the barrel of his AMG machine gun. So to just kind of wrap it up, we get like a cool fight where he's fighting them. We also just have to talk. Every cockpit here has the thinnest glass installed in it that a Na'vi arrow can pierce and kill every pilot immediately, which like...
Counterpoint, do Na'vi just make their whole shit out of the craziest wood on planet Earth and the craziest
they're 9
rocks?
feet tall, so those are like javelins, right?
A full draw on a bow drawn by a fucking Na'vi probably is a ballista. Like, it is probably siege weaponry.
Seeing some of these colonizers get absolutely wasted by those things is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when
it
they
is
like
pretty
fly
cool.
down and they like grab the helicopters and are just throwing them. 5,000 Na'vi die in this battle, but
Obviously.
don't worry.
Yeah, that's why later he has to go around convincing people to ally again, because he got like everyone killed. But yeah.
I was just gonna say, shout out to the straight to Hulu Predator spinoff movie Prey, which
So
does
good.
this 40-minute sequence in about 6 minutes and is unbelievably good.
Yep. Yep. He literally, okay, first off, Colonel Quatrick's mech has a giant mech-sized Bowie knife that he ends up using, and Jake is parrying it with a fucking, like, the mech's
Bayonet.
weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, something that's really fun to notice is when Jake is in the Avatar body, he uses a machine gun from one of the mechs because regular guns are too small. for
Again,
the
this
Na'vi.
is where I was like, I was watching this movie and I was like, this movie is dog shit, and yet it is doing like everything we love
That's
about
thing.
the mechs.
It's this movie is dog shit, nerd emoji,
And yet,
a pointing emoji, and yet.
hints.
We get what is the theme now in the Avatar universe, which is
We finally find it.
late stage capitalism. Humans are bad at planning or thinking anything through. So to bomb their most holiest of place, which I want to use the quote because if you want to know if this movie was not subtle enough for you, this is what Colonel Quatrick tells people before they go to blow up the tree. Our only security lies in preemptive attack. We will fight terror with terror. Now, the hostiles believe that this mountain stronghold of theirs is well protected by their deity, and when we destroy it, we will blast a crater in their racial memory so deep that they won't come within 1,000 clicks of this place ever again.
Again, they're going for bingo on the racist card.
If you guys also didn't realize this was made in 2009, we had been in Iraq for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Weird, huh? Weird. So
James Cameron, I wanted your take on what if people were drowning. I don't want your take on what if we did racism in space.
Spacism. Anyway.
Spacism.
So, they're instead of dropping the bombs from a nice height, where they couldn't be touched by these things, they have to hover slowly in to do it. Anyway, mech things. The drop ship with the mechs is pretty fucking cool. I want to talk about Colonel Quatrick. First off, getting
Colonel Quattro Vagina.
going to the first off, that pilot is putting up with so much with this man in his cockpit, but he jumps up to shoot Jake while Jake is throwing a missile he ripped off a helicopter into the blade fans of the VTOL, which is badass. But then he like gets into his mech and like jumps out of it as it's crashing. That's Mechs, baby.
Yeah.
This whole sequence is like so like
it's like Titanfall, but like Titanfall was so much better.
Yeah.
But then but this is very Titanfall.
Okay, here's the thing. You can create a better version of Avatar, simultaneously put on Prey and play Titanfall 2.
Yes.
I do want to say, imagine being one of the Marine guys who doesn't get a mech and has to just walk through the fucking forest.
No, okay, anytime there's a group
We're
shot
doing
and they
an
have
aerial bombing campaign. You need to get on the ground and walk there. What?
They have the mega bulldozer, then they have the mechs that are only about as tall as the treads on the mega bulldozer, and then they have some fucking jarheads with just their fucking AKs just walking.
Just walking. So you'll never guess. The Na'vi are almost losing. And then Awa, which is the planet spirit, sends animals to attack the humans, and we win. They kill the colonel, and then they have the shame walk back to the plane to send them off the planet, and they're like, don't come back. And they're like, actually, we come back every 6 years. That's kind of how it works. We have this set up. We're a corporation. And everything's probably fine. That's how the movie ends. The movie ends with him fully transferring his consciousness through Awa into the Avatar body, killing his human body, which is a thing. So that's cool, right?
Yeah, it does. Well, it's not meaning to, but there's the question in Cyberpunk when we talk about disability politics that's like, you could get a cool gun arm. It does mean cutting off your meat arm, but in the transhumanism of Cyberpunk, the flesh is disposable. And there's often a conflict within Cyberpunk between, like, there are veterans of wars who lost limbs who had them replaced with, like, chop shop versions of Cyberpunk limbs. And then there are people who electively have it done. And there is a disability politics to that. I think it's also present here. It's like choosing to let your disabled body die to live in an abled form. Smarter people than me have written about it, like, yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
That's some cool nerd shit,
Yeah.
but we got to do something. Wait, any closing thoughts on this very important film?
Yeah, I have one immediately. The Wikipedia page for Avatar also links to a Wikipedia page called List of Films Featuring Powered Exoskeletons. I just want to say the first one they have listed is Aliens. Obviously, that's in our opening drop. Sigourney Weaver piloting that one. The last one they have listed, for some reason, I guess this is alphabetical, is Wallace and Gromit's The Wrong Trousers, 1993. So I just want to say, those are the two types of mechs that there are. I'm kidding.
I would love to cover Wrong Trousers.
We should do that for next year. But there is something important we have to do.
Yes.
We've got to rate these goddamn mechs. So for consideration, I am specifically calling out the Avatar system as a mech, as well as the Mitsubishi MK6 amplified mobility platform. Brian, we'll start with you.
And I'm also, sorry, I'm adding every fucking animal that they ride using hair link.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Prius also. So, the thing is, I'm like, I have two minds because I did an exercise with this movie because I knew that I really didn't like it, and I knew that I knew that I didn't like the Mechs. I knew that another memory that I didn't mention is the crystallized memory of the general looking through the rearview mirror, which I just thought was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. But like the Mechs are so ugly to me that it's just like it really drags it down. Like all of the other machinery looks amazing. I love all the other machinic stuff. I like all the other mechanics. I like the Avatar cockpits. I really like everything they do with the Avatar system. But the Mechs are like truly like the ugliest Mechs I think I've ever seen. And so that like kind of brings me down to a 5. I gave it a +1 because of our conversation, so it's a 6 now. Because I do really like the stuff that the Avatar stuff specifically. I really like almost all of it. We didn't really talk about it, but like there's a moment where they've had to move the cockpits down to the surface when they go against the military. And at one point the general just attacks that building, and so his cockpit is punctured, and like he kind of slowly asphyxiates because they're on the surface. I think that's like such a that's almost like the movie being like, if you didn't think this was a mech, like,
Yep.
this is a mech, like that worked really well for me. So yeah, 6,
Nice.
which is my lowest for in a long time.
Yeah, we've been really
Yeah,
high on a lot of these. Well, I also have a 6 because unfortunately I did open a tab to try to find, like, I was looking for, like, does someone just have one of these cockpits parked in their garage that we could, like, try to get for an affordable series of payments? And, like, instead I'm being subjected to a lot of signed movie posters, obviously, but I mean, I like the fact that they constructed the cockpits. I like the fact that they did a lot of practical work.
That's such a good point too. I love that also.
And honestly, I do like the idea that, like, this is a world where everything initially was created to interact in an ecosystem where there is a guiding consciousness, so everything can connect synaptically. And so obviously that means that any animal or creature that you can connect with synaptically, it reminds me a little of Horizon Zero Dawn when you gain the ability to override the robotic dinosaurs and animals and stuff so that you can work with them and ride them and stuff like that. Like, there's this idea that, like, you can connect very physically with the things in this environment to augment your abilities. And I feel like that's incredibly Mechs to me. And I love the scale shit, unfortunately, of, like, the bit where the general attacks his body, Neytiri goes and finds him and, like, puts the respirator on him. And so there's a moment where she's cradling his real body. And so you get to actually see the scale differential between, like, her as just an individual and his body when he's not piloting the avatar. All of this shit, unfortunately, is Mechs to me. And like I said, I knew we were going to have a really interesting conversation despite the fact that every minute of what, for me, was like a fully 3-hour movie, because I accidentally watched the extended version, was insufferable. Like, there was so much happening here that was cool. I have to begrudge... This is the most begrudging 6 I've ever offered.
I totally agree. I'm so 100% on that.
So here's the thing. Alice, why did you bring Avatar onto the podcast?
Yeah, why'd you bring this to us?
I've been hearing people talking that we're giving too high of ratings, and I thought I could bring something that is legitimately so dog shit my co-host would give it a low score, and we would almost be close enough to the GIVO low watermark. That is what I wanted when I brought this here.
Unfortunately,
my co-hosts do in fact like this a lot, which makes me so giddy. I love that you love James Cameron's The Avatar universe in the way of the Mechs.
Hold on.
You're overstating things a little bit.
No. But for me, okay, I am poisoned by my knowledge, right? I know what happens in the second movie. I know what happens in the games and the books. With that in mind, and I know we try and take these as what we know in the media that we saw, but, like, I'm putting this up against, like, other generic suits that we've seen before. And the Avatar, it's cool. I like how it interprets the world. But in the Year of the Shell, this isn't my favorite exploration of that concept. I feel like it's been done better in different media. And I specifically brought this on here to give it a low score because I feel, coming from me, that's more important, and I wanted to lower scores. This is a 3. This is a 3 for me.
Alice lower than us on the fucking... I feel like we have to have a bell curve correction where me and Bri get brought down to 2s, but unfortunately, we just...
The fucked up thing about our rating system is that we all have a completely different rubric. Like, Alice will just give things scores for absolute, like, reasons that have nothing to do with quality or quantity. And I will give scores because I feel bad, and Nico will give scores because she wants to participate in commerce.
Yeah, we are not talking about them until we're there. There is no pre-discussion. We find out each other's scores in the moment.
That's true.
So with that, we are going to jump to the last break, and when we come back, we will have a very quick game and a letter. So let's go and do that.
Hey guys, Alice here. Thanks for listening to On the Shoulders of Giants. We're really happy you're here, but if you know anybody who might be interested, we'd love if you share our work with them. If you are enjoying what we're doing, maybe send us a message, or what would really help us out is if you leave a review online. Really, a lot of the algorithms will push people down if they don't have reviews, so it really helps if you just go and write something on the internet. Heck, we might even read one on the podcast if it's really nice and makes our hearts go doki doki. So if you could do that, maybe do it, and thanks again for listening. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back from the break. Hey guys, before we get back to the break, I do want to talk about Avatar 2, The Way of Water, which is if you thought that this amp was not great, I want to introduce you to the RDA Set Ops Crab Suit, which is the greatest mech ever made in the Avatar universe.
Okay, but is it manufactured by Mitsubishi, you fake bitch?
No, it's a in-house production.
Oh god, unfortunately the technical shit just keeps looking good. Oh my god.
Look at its little punchy
Look at
arms.
that big pod shit.
Oh my god, the way it moves underwater. Oh my god. Did they build some of these practically? I'll kill myself.
This is cool.
This is unfortunately quite cool. Oh my god, they're like tagging the whales.
The guppy walked so that these could run.
Oh my god, so that these could like hop and swing themselves around and swim and fuck me. We're gonna have to cover Avatar: The Way of Water. I fucking hate my life.
So guys, we have a game.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to get a little native in here. This game is called Wisdom of the Jarhead Clan.
Okay, all right. Wiping my forehead.
Hat is in the first half, not gonna lie.
Me terrified. Alice was like, let's all learn cool facts about indigenous American tribes. And I'm just like,
nope. I'm white. That is not my story to tell. There are much better voices to listen to. Now, I can talk about the U.S. Marines because I'm friends with many of them.
My friend is a Marine, so...
My friend is a Marine, I'm
an ally.
Let me recenter. I'm getting back. Okay. This movie was inspired in part by the Iraq War. Another thing that was inspired by the Iraq War is the HBO miniseries Generation Kill, based on a Rolling Stones embedded reporter who joined 1st Recon Marines in the fight for Baghdad. Jake in this movie is referred to as a Recon Marine. The 1st Recon Division and the other Recon divisions are like the top of the top. Often called the Marine Raiders, right? So I felt this would be like a good allegory for what we have. So what I've done is I have gone through and I've collected quotes from non-fictional Marines, ones in real world, and fictional Marines, ones from Generation Kill. I'm going to read you these quotes, and you are going to very simply tell me, is that a real Marine quote or a fake Marine quote?
Oh my god.
But it's not that easy, avatars.
Oh, okay.
There is one landmine in here. I put a Jake Sully quote in here.
Oh, no.
So remember back to the 3 hours of Jake Sully saying shit in a voiceover? One of them is in here. If you find that, you win the game. But you have to call it out.
This is good.
Yeah.
We've been oscillating between really weird out there and really, really lazy games lately. This is a classic OSG game, I feel like.
It must be said.
Yeah.
We're going to get sued by a bunch of people claiming we've ripped off their game, but it's just because we created the most basic, true-to-form game.
I am deeply trying to remind our audience that there is a normal that we can achieve and lower the scores. I had this thought, okay? Okay,
let's go.
Alice, goddess of the median number.
Question 1, Brian.
Yeah.
You're in your new Na'vi body, and I'm asking you a question.
Okay.
There are only two kinds of people that understand Marines. Marines and the enemy. Everyone else has a second-hand opinion. Is that a real Marine or a fake Marine?
That sounds real.
That is real. That was from General William Thurston from the U.S. Army, talking about the Marines.
It does kind of sound like the OPSEC quote from Extreme Meat Punks Bound by Ash, where he says OPSEC stands for,
only friends, neighbors, enemies, and children, or something like that?
Only friends and enemies can know what a Marine is.
Question 2, Nico.
Yes.
The priest told me it's not a sin to kill if you don't enjoy killing. My question is whether indifference is the same as enjoyment.
That's a movie quote. A Marine has never contemplated sin.
That is from Generation Kill. That is from Sergeant Antonio Poke Espera.
That is attributing way more interiority to a Marine than I believe they're capable of.
Brian, back to you. Quote.
Hello.
Every Marine is, first and foremost, a rifleman. All other conditions are secondary.
Real?
That is real. That was General A.M.
cool.
Gray from the Commandant of the U.S. Marine Corps. Nico, back to you.
Yes.
The question is, why the fuck am I standing here looking at a fucking bridge that doesn't have my fucking Marines rolling across it?
That's a real quote.
That is actually from the show. That is from
Damn,
James
I'm
Chaos
just like, I
Mavitz.
would believe it. I would believe it.
It is attributed as a real quote that he made, but everything in that Rolling Stone article was transcribed separately into the show, and the Marines are like, no, nobody ever said any of those curse words, so it might have actually
A
happened.
Marine has never cursed. They're all good Christian women.
That's right.
They're all good
They're-
Christian women.
Brian, back to you.
Yeah. Yep.
Bravery is the capacity to perform properly even when scared half to death.
Yeah, I feel like that's too smart. Fake.
That was a real Marine, Omar in Bradley.
Are all of mine real and all of Nico's fake?
That's what it
talking
sounds
about?
like now.
What? No, what? Nico, back to you. Come on, you sons of bitches! Do you want to live forever?
That's a real quote.
That is a real quote from Gunny Sergeant Daniel Dan Daly as he led the 5th Marines attack into the Blue Wood, 6th of June, 1918.
No one loves dying like Marines and hamsters. They love to die, and they love to die badly.
That's real. Brian, back to you.
Klingons?
A Klingon is a sort of Marine hamster.
Corporal, stow this next to my seat. Better be prepared. Never know when you might need an AK.
Fake.
That is fake. That is from Captain Dave. Captain America McGraw.
That's improper gun safety. Nobody would put up with that, right? I feel like that's improper gun safety.
Well,
I think it's more like we've made better guns than the fucking Kalashnikov by this point. He would have a nicer gun.
I'm not sure about that.
we can get into the AK versus Colt anytime you guys want. I don't know if we have 40 minutes.
We don't, unfortunately.
Go back to you.
Yes.
It's a combat jack. Captain feels the need to entrench in a solitary position before letting one fly.
Oh, God. This is fake. It has to be fake. I don't want it to be real.
It's fake, but we all know Marines love to dig a hole and jerk it.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I thought you were about to say Marines love to dig a hole and fuck it, which I also would believe.
Yeah, that's real. Brian, back to you.
Yeah.
The great use of life is to spend it for something that will outlast it.
Real?
That one is real. That is from
Yeah.
William James.
That sounds like something a nationalist would say.
Right. Nico, back to you.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it's done. When people are sitting on shit that you want, you make them your enemy. Then you're justified in taking it.
That's a Jake Sully quote.
Hey, Sully. How's it feel to betray your own race?
That's the one!
I have really good short-term, perfect recall for things that I've heard, and so I was just waiting for the Jake Sully quote to hit. I knew it was going to be there.
That's it. That
Also,
was the
again,
Jake Sully quote.
That would be too much interiority for a Marine. For a real Marine.
Well,
Hoorah.
Jake Sully has a notable amount of interiority.
Unfortunately, because we kept fucking hearing him. Am I right? Avatar haters?
Can't live with them.
Can't live without them.
Guys, watch out! I'm getting a flash transmission from SecOps. Let's put it up on the screen. This flash transmission is from Tony. Quote, "Hey, only just started listening to the podcast and I love everything about it. Y'all included."
Oh, thanks.
Aw.
I see you've got an episode listed for this wonderful series. You've not got an episode listed for this wonderful series. Links to goodreads.com, Gunmetal Olympus. Please do so. It's Hades and Persephone, except most everyone is a dyke and has mechs. Feels applicable somehow? Thanking emoji. Regardless, I look forward to continued enjoyment of episodes. Heart, Tony. Gunmetal Olympics series by Maria Ying. I think we all looked at this before this. Fuck yeah, I want to cover this shit.
We're gonna need to cover this. I
just want to read it if I'm being honest.
The summary.
I've been following the author and her wife or girlfriend or something there, but they both are actually, they have both come up because they both make money doing Lancer commissions. They both were mentioned by name in our Lancer episode as people who make really good Lancer commissions.
Fantastic. Yeah, the summary of the series is decadent cyberpunk cities, giant mechas, Greek mythology is never seen before, Gunmetal Olympus takes Greek mythology retelling in a new direction, gods who draw as much power from science as from magic, and the lesbian champions who serve them. All right, gang, I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read this outline, and I honestly just want to read this just for me.
Yep.
And I want to use this as an opportunity to tell listeners that I love these suggestions. We love these suggestions. I know,
especially, hey, let me say real quick, books, because like I've done the Google on like what are mech books, but this hadn't come up for me. I'm sure there are other things that I am missing.
There's so many books; it's hard to find them all.
Oh God, Alice is suffering.
It's a treasure hunt.
And to use this as an opportunity to again say, like, even if it doesn't seem like we have the wherewithal or the breath to get to it, these two have signed an extension to their contract for 6 years so that they can get access to the avatar body that I'm going to give them. So we at least have that much time to cover.
She's dangling the ability to run through the fields over our heads.
Yeah.
Hey, Bright, what's your avatar body like? Because mine is not actually a blue person. It is the backbend leg metal one. But Alice is going to put my consciousness in there so that I can go to Costco and step on everyone who doesn't know how to drive their cart.
Yeah, that's going to happen. That's real.
Mine's like a classical marble statue.
That's awesome. We're going to look so
as.
cool when we finally fulfill our contract. There's definitely not going to be a 3 days from retirement situation.
Nothing bad has ever happened to anyone ever, so jot that down.
That's so...
Official stance of the OSG pod, nothing bad has ever happened.
Nothing bad ever happened to anyone ever. To back up Alice's point, like, yeah, please send us suggestions. Like, we've very rarely gotten suggestions. I think we've gotten like 2 like distinct solid suggestions, and I'm pretty sure we've changed the schedule around to accommodate both of them. Mm-hmm. So like, we will take suggestions, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely...
Even though Alice wants to host like 19 episodes next year somehow.
She's going to figure out how, and I'm going to figure out how to make us cover Way of Water, and Alice won't get to host it.
Guys, what if I bought the Mattel Jake Sully in wheelchair avatar action figure?
We got to go. We got to get out of here.
And that's this episode of On the Shoulders of Giants, where we discuss the 2009 James Cameron film, Avatar. Any parting thoughts, you two?
I'm going to read the last sentence of my notes. Having survived, Jake transes his race. The end. LMAO.
Yeah, I can't believe Jake became transracial. That's really powerful. I'm just going to say, I'll read the last line of the script.
This action figure!
I will read the last line of the script, which is close up on Jake's eyes, hold a beat, then they open.
My closing thought on this is if you go onto YouTube, there is a 10-minute cut that is Avatar, but it's only when the AMP mech is on screen. And you can just watch that.
Thank you, our strongest soldier.
You can just watch that. You don't need to watch the extended cut and get the torrid backstory like Nico. You can just watch giant robots.
Yeah, you are missing a really awful wig, though.
Thanks for listening, pilots. Remember, you can reach out for advice from the team at our email, questions@osgpod.com, and non-pilots can send general questions or feedback to the same address. You can also catch up with us on social media. The links are in the description for updates and more. We also have a show Discord. Jump in, talk to us. We have a Na'vi pick crew that we found, so you can do your own little Na'vi character.
Yeah, unfortunately, everyone can be posting their Na'vis now.
Yeah, we can all post Na'vis in chat, please.
Send Na'vis.
Make sure to check back in 2 weeks when we'll be discussing the last of our Year in the Shell coverage, Ghost in the Shell, Arise. Until then, goodbye, I see you.
Goodbye, I love you.
It's gonna do the same shit. Hey, I see you.
Ah!